Please be seated. Good evening. What a glorious day we have been given today. My name is Jamie Caridi. I am the president of Bethany College. Students, family, friends, alumni, trustees, and special guests, welcome to this wonderful time at Bethany College as we honor the class of 2023. Today, we gather inside Commencement Hall here in Old Main, a remarkable space that speaks to our tradition of excellence in teaching, learning, and service. In my time as president, I have come to admire this building, for it reminds me that Bethany is more than a college. It is a caring community that wraps its arms around each and every student, just as this building envelops us once we pass through its doors. I'm confident that you experience this sense of community through the people you connected with here. In fact, I'm sure that there is someone, class of 2023, and likely more than just one person, who made your Bethany journey meaningful and, we hope, unforgettable. I highly encourage you to take a moment to think of that person or persons and to thank them at some point for the difference they have made in your life. Through our community, Bethany also prepares students to succeed in every path that they follow, now and in the future. The outcomes of our education speak for themselves, and I cannot wait to see how you will contribute to creating a world of worth and value following graduation. It's what our founder, Alexander Campbell, envisioned when he founded Bethany in the beautiful foothills of Allegheny Mountains back in 1840. And I think he would be so proud to see his vision continue to live on in each of you. Each year, our baccalaureate service provides us another opportunity, one that begins and ends with a celebration of the class of 2023, especially your accomplishments across academics, the arts, athletics, and so much more. Your talents and gifts that you have so generously blessed us with during your time here. Your curiosity and your intellectual engagement in your classes and outside of the classroom. Your desire to serve others. Your global perspectives and solution-driven mindsets. Your partnership with faculty on exciting research and deeper understanding, and the environment of belonging that you helped to create on our campus. As a class, you have experienced the Bison community from the very start, and through it, you have excelled in ways that you might never have thought possible when you first decided that Bethany would be your college home. And our response to what you have given us through your gifts is one of gratitude and thanks. The world is far better with your compassion, your curiosity, your kind hearts, and your leadership. Congratulations. Please join me in a round of applause for all the members of the class of 2023 and the future alumni. It's now my honor to invite Noah Gill to the podium to give our invocation.
Please bow your heads with me. Gracious and loving God, we ask now for your almighty hand to be upon our graduates as they and their families celebrate this grand milestone. May they find comfort from the Bethany community's continued embrace and support as they journey through life. May they find strength in the excellence of their academic preparation and the long line of the Bethany educational tradition, for with it tomorrow they join a nearly 200-year-old network of Bethany alumni. Bless their lives from this day on with goodness and success. Empower them to walk into the future with faith, hope, and great love, guided by your light. We ask this all in your name. Amen.
Good afternoon. Well, everyone, here we are. After four long years, we are at the end of our journey at Bethany. Through painstaking efforts, we have completed all of our major classes, finished our senior projects, passed comps, and survived a pandemic on top of that. That is all over 4 school years, or about 120 chicken patty Wednesdays if you prefer. When I was asked last week to speak at Baccalaureate, I almost turned it down. I'm not sure how many of you know, but I am not the person you want to approach for some emotional or inspirational speech. What did I have to say that wasn't some cliche about journeys and destinations, or something that literally applies to every one of us, such as, man, late night sheets runs with friends are the best, right? While those phrases do have truth to them, especially because midnight sheets runs with friends are awesome, I would wager that we have all heard them so many times before that they have lost all deeper meaning. But a few days later, a faculty member asked me what my biggest regret was during my time at Bethany. And that opened up a whole new avenue of thinking about our time here that hopefully just brushes upon those cliches instead of running headlong into them. So I want to ask each of you to take a few moments and think about your time here. Think about your greatest victories and your crushing failures. The moments that you will remember for the rest of your lives, and those that you would rather have forgotten. The friendships that you have made, and those that have been lost. The truth is that all of our experiences here have been uniquely our own, and yet paradoxically are not. During these formative college years, our experiences shape who we are, for better and for worse. While in each of our individual reflections, some of the same themes may be shared between different people and groups, what we took away from those memories can be strikingly different. Particularly when it comes to regret, as had the question been posed to me, we spend too long thinking about the choices we could have made, but who can say that if we had made those different choices, how different we would be today? So when I was asked that question, I argued then, as I do now, in these last hours of our undergraduate lives, let us not focus on our regrets and what we could have done differently. Instead, let us be proud of who we have become because of our time here and because of the choices we have made, which includes both our successes and our struggles. Yet, it is also true that some of our greatest influences in shaping who we have become have not only been the events themselves, but the people that were involved. Particularly at Bethany, our lives become fundamentally linked. We all know each other and are involved in each other's personal lives, whether we wanted to be or not. And I can guarantee that in each of your own personal reflections, many other people were involved. And it is those people that will stick with us in some capacity for the rest of our lives. And the importance of that should not be understated. As I alluded to in the beginning, I shy away from ever really feeling or expressing my emotions. I do so because it is easier to bottle them up and ignore them than to face them and feel vulnerable. But allowing those feelings to come through does not make us weak. Rather, it makes us human, and it shows where our priorities to one another lie. Personally, I have always found that leaving people behind is so much more difficult than the place or an event. And looking back at all of us as we entered Bethany in August of 2019, walking through the same gates that we just walked through now, I cannot help but feel overwhelming pride at what we have done and how far each one of us has come. But that pride is mixed with overwhelming sadness that our time together is coming to an end. In these moments, I think of a song by the band The Head and the Heart called Rivers and Roads. The opening verses of the song go, "A year from now, we'll all be gone. All our friends will move away. And they're going to better places, but our friends will be gone away. We're all going on to bigger and better things in our lives, and we should celebrate that fact together. But nevertheless, our parting still stings." However, the chorus of the song reminds us that this is not a permanent separation. We may all take the rivers and roads till we reach each other again, whether it be back at Bethany or somewhere else along the way. We are united both as Bethanians and as one hell of an impressive class. I have no doubt that after tomorrow, we'll see each other again. Probably when we're doing amazing things and basically ruling the world, But until then, let us enjoy our remaining time together and celebrate our journeys, both as individuals and as a group. It feels fitting then to end with some of the cliche phrasing that I was trying so hard to avoid. If you are like me and suck at saying farewells to the people you care about and love, instead, we can simply say, "See you later." Thank you.
The lesson I'll be giving tonight comes from Psalm 121. "I lift up my eyes to the mountains. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. He will not let your foot slip. He who watches you will not slumber. Indeed, he who watches over Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord watches over you. The Lord is your shade at your right hand. The sun will not harm you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will keep you from all harm. He will watch over your life. The Lord will watch over your coming and going, both now and forevermore. The lesson that I will be reading is from the book of Mark, chapter 8. The way of the cross. Then he called the crowd to him along with his disciples and said, "Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me. For whoever wants to save their life will lose it, but whoever loses their life for me and for the gospel will save it."
The scripture I am reading is Matthew 5:13 through 16. You are the salt of the earth, but if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled underfoot. You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on a stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven.
Noah, Ian, Alexia, Natalia, Danielle, thank you for your participation in today's baccalaureate. As is a tradition at this service, we invite a special person to share inspiring words with us. This year, the choice was obvious. We have asked the Reverend Thaddeus B. Allen, Regional Minister of the Christian Church, the Disciples of Christ, in West Virginia, Pennsylvania, and the Northeastern region, to serve as our speaker. Reverend Allen has been an ardent supporter of Bethany College. As a proud 1992 graduate, a Bethany parent, and as a member of the college's Board of Trustees, where he currently leads as our vice chair. This commencement has particular meaning for the Reverend Allen, as his daughter Hattie will be graduating with the class of 2023. So congratulations to you, Jennifer, and the family. We asked Reverend Allen to be with us today because his entire career has centered on putting others first in his ministry and service. Allow me to share just some highlights of his distinguished career. On August 19, 2007, Reverend Allen was called to his current position and began his service to the region. He was consecrated and installed by General Minister and President, the Reverend Dr. Sharon Watkins, at the Regional Assembly the following April. Several years later, in 2014, he was also called to serve as Regional Minister and President for the Pennsylvania region of the Disciples. Moreover, he became the acting Regional Minister for the Northeastern region of the Christian Church and was subsequently called to the office of Regional Minister in 2019. In November 2018, he was named Visiting Regional Minister for the Christian Church in Ohio, a post he held for 2.5 years. If his impressive journey to his current position were not enough, Reverend Allen shepherded several Disciples of Christ-affiliated churches in West Virginia as a dedicated pastor, including Madison Avenue Christian Church in Huntington, Big Run Christian Church in Cameron, and Bethany Christian Church of New England. He also has an immense heart for youth, having served as the associate to the regional minister for youth ministry in this region. In addition to the giving of his time and energy on our board, he is on the board of trustees for the Disciples of Christ Historical Society and on the board of Thomas Campbell Apartments, a large affordable housing campus in Washington, Pennsylvania, as well as on the board of Christian Associates of Southwest Pennsylvania and the West Virginia Council of Churches. Reverend Allen and his wife Jennifer are the proud parents of 2 daughters, Kaylee, who is a student at the Indiana University of McKinney School of Law, and Hattie, who, as I mentioned earlier, is here with us at Bethany and graduating tomorrow. It is now my honor to welcome the Reverend Thaddeus B. Allen, a servant leader of the highest calling, to the podium.
God works through people, and especially through mission-focused, beautiful people like you. You are a beautiful sight to behold, and it's so good to be with all the important people in my life and in the world in this great and glorious occasion. I'm grateful for this opportunity. And I want to come on behalf of the Christian Church Disciples of Christ and the General Minister and President of the Christian Church Disciples of Christ, the Reverend Terry Hort Owens, and say grace and peace to you. And on behalf of the whole church, I would like to come and say thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for all the ways that you are you, and for being learners and teachers. The mission of Bethany College is important, and the world needs Bethany. God works through people, and I think some of God's most beautiful work is through Bethanians. It has been a privilege and an honor to watch the class of 2023. Ian, hell of a class, right? Thanks for saying it. You let me off the hook on some things that may come out. And the great thing about this class is you have more in you than you realize. You have more gas in the tank than you understand you do. You have more horsepower in you than you do, more potential for great things than you realize. So we're going to ask you to get lost. That's an odd thing to say, isn't it? To people whom you love and want to hold close. It's odd to say get lost or get out of here or hit the road or see ya, especially when you just got here. Jennifer had some pictures out, and I was looking at one of them, and it was a picture of when you as a class were coming through the gates 4 years ago. And I was so glad that she found that gem. Because as you're coming through the gates, your eyes were lifted up the hill, like the psalmist. Lift up your eyes. From where will my help come? Now, there are a couple people in the picture who were kind of looking down, but there were others who were saying, look up. And together, you've come a long way. You came through the gates. You started doing great things together as a class. And then the school said, get lost. You got to go home because a worldwide pandemic hit. And all of parents who were enjoying life in a new way, guess what happened? Here we go, right? And all of a sudden, we're learning how to be online people, and how are we going to share internet bandwidth and space. And all the while, you kept it classy. You kept your heads held high. And you taught us that learning and teaching is going to happen, especially when that's the mission that's embedded within your heart and within your charter as a person, as a professor. Right? That there was no question that the teaching was going to happen. And there was little doubt that the learning was going to happen. And you did it together. And you kept your heads held high. On a personal note, I got to get a new TV. We got the biggest TV we could find because we wanted to watch you play sports, even wearing masks. And we watched you just get better and better. And the announcing kept getting better and better. And you all just kept getting better and better. And then that great big TV that we got, you could use it also to watch senior projects and sharing of information that was learned and the academic life. And it was wonderful. You kept your heads high and you kept it classy. You did it together. Now, the president asked you at lunch, there was a little lunch for some of the folks around, and he said, take some time to remember somebody who's interesting in your career. And college is kind of interesting, right? You find people who you remember, who mark you in ways that are fun and life-giving. And my mind went to our old assistant dean of students at the time. I don't know if anyone remembers, was around for Christine Osmond. Anyone remember Mrs. Osmond? So you probably saw her a lot. She handled the she handled the discipline of a life, and where we lived in the Alpha Sig house out on Point Breeze, we lived here, and her house was just below us, and she had a deck out back, and her husband was a great professor of political science, and he was a gem, and Mrs. Osmond, she probably had a bad assignment in the institution, but we felt like she was just always on our case. She would stand outside of her deck. We always knew she was out there day or night because that's everybody. Sometimes people used to smoke, and you could see the light come up, and she would stand outside, and she would yell things like "Turn the music down," or "Language," when she didn't like what she was hearing, and she had a voice that would carry. You'll learn what it's like. At some point, you'll get older, and you'll want to yell "Language" to somebody. It happens. And we just always felt like she was just watching us all the time, on our case, giving us fines, putting us on social probation. And we were very, very different kind of people. But when she was about to really blow her stack, and you could see it coming, she would close the meeting with "Get lost." And usually slam a door while she was at it. "Get lost." And she was hard to connect with. Now, I took RS 100 and appreciated learning about the New Testament in my Oxford Annotated Bible. I went to scripture classes at Vanderbilt Divinity School, United Theological Seminary, Lexington Theological Seminary. And it wasn't until I was there that I realized that the assistant dean of students was quoting scripture, kind of loosely and fastly, like a lot of us do and probably doing right now. But she was saying something important when she would say "Get lost" to a Bethany student. In the gospel texts, especially from Mark, beautifully read, well done. This text is about discipleship. And it's about losing yourself for something bigger than who you are. And it's a reminder that at Root Center, at Life Center, we're not just our own. In your education, it isn't just yours. Your mission isn't just yours. Yes, you've earned it, but it's as much, if not more, a gift that you've received. And it's a gift that will carry you into the world forever. So share it. Don't be stingy with it. Take the gifts that your professors and administration have given you and take it out for a ride and see what it can do. And remember, you've got a lot more in you than you realize. We've been watching you. Like the dean of students on her deck. Yeah. We've been watching. This text of getting lost in the gospel gives us a lot of room to move and shake and be. And I hope, class of 2023, that as you approach your lives together, and always go places together, that you're going to really get lost. Get lost in justice causes. When you come across someone who has not enough and someone who has too much, don't be afraid to pay attention or lean in on that. I hope you get lost in peacemaking. We need more peace. Peace in the world, peace from bodily harm, and peace in here too. Peace within ourselves. There are a lot of people going to battle in the world, and Bethany presents a group of peacemakers to get lost. I hope you get lost telling the truth. When you find something that just needs to be corrected or confronted, don't be afraid to speak up. There are going to be people in the room who want to say it but don't have it in them to say it. You've got it in you to say it. Get lost in excellence. Get lost standing up to powers and principalities that aren't fair. There are systems in the world that stack the deck against some and deal 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 aces to others. Stand up to those things. Find a bully and knock them over if you get a chance. It's the best thing you can do for them. And get lost while you're doing it. And get out of your own way. And lose yourself. Get really lost in some great, holy, life-changing cause. And do it right where you live. And do it right where you work. It's gimmicky, but I think it's true. Bloom where you're planted. Where you live and where you work. And you can do that with any major that you have here. I was thinking, I was in a Dollar General store near the end of the summer. I was sent on a mission to find some totes to help do some packing, to move someone to school, and the public schools had just started. And there were a couple women who were talking, and they were younger than me, but they were talking, chit-chatting, didn't want to leave. And they had like cleaning supplies. And one said, "I am so excited that my son has the teacher of our choice this year. And I can't wait to go home and clean my house because this summer we were kind of rough living." And she said, "And I'm just so happy of where life is." And the other woman said, similar story. Excited her kids were in school. They walk off. I do my thing. Felt like I'd waited a long time to get my checkout going, but I was trying not to be rude. And as I left, I saw them walking into the apartment complex where they lived near my office. And I look on the sign, and it says Bethanian. It said Woda Cooper. And I'm thinking, now how does an accounting degree drive you in a way that you can go to work and provide a home for someone who didn't have access to it, who the world was stacked against, who gave them a great place to be in an excellent school district, and they're happy to go clean it? That's justice. So find something that turns you on. You can't take on everything, but you got to have something. And run to that and get lost. And do it globally too. Go some places. Meet some people. Find people you don't understand and run to them. Diversity is not an easy thing. And sometimes people you don't get can be maddening. But with pure hearts and open minds, and I think these are still things we teach at Bethany College. Your minds are open. Keep them that way. There are enough closed-minded people in the world. Let's not add to that. I think you'll find that dealing with people who are different than you is a grace. It's grace. Engage everybody. And thank God that everyone is not like you or me or us. And just as you did when they sent you home for the pandemic, and as you did in your comps, and I watched all your pictures of comps passing, and you just kept it classy, and you hit it out of the park. Keep it classy and keep hitting it out of the park. And engage everybody. Befriend people who are different than you. But run to salty people too. Run to people who burn brightly, because they get a lot more done in the world. And get lost. Get lost. Get out of here. Go do something neat. Hit the road, because the world needs you. So 1992 Baccalaureate, kind of reminisce here, Jamie, this is what you asked the assignment, right? And my fraternity brothers and I are fresh with our robes on, right out of the bag, right? They got the creases, and yeah, we weren't like you. We didn't have it all together. And as we were lining up to practice a walkthrough through the gates, one of my fraternity brothers said, we ought to do our stomp. And so we said, what's the stomp? So the stomp that we would do at Founders Day was kind of, so we're lined up, robes, freshly out of the bag, standing there in line, practicing the stomp. I think I still kick the stomp in sometimes when we try to dance at weddings or places, and Jennifer says, what are you doing? It just kicks in. We're standing there thinking we're doing everything good, and all of a sudden we see that glow across the way, and Mrs. Osman looked over and said, I cannot wait for you guys to get lost. And one of the brothers who kept trying to engage her, he took seriously the fact that you should try and connect with people who are different than you. In fact, we worked in the barn, and BK was our chief teacher and our boss, and she would help us with stuff. We'd cook away, and BK would teach us, be a little nicer, be a little gentler, engage her, get to know her. And so he tried to do that, and he said, Mrs. Osman, you're going to miss us. In fact, your life is going to get materially worse when we leave, and I know you're going to miss us. And she started to, you could see it coming. We still got the one guy with no rhythm trying to figure out the stomp. Meanwhile, we're thinking we're not going to do that. And then she said it. She said, Mr. Montero. Ian, here's where I owe you. Don't let the gate hit you in the ass. And he said, language. Well, we had her right where we thought we wanted her. And Mrs. Osman was there. Mr. Montero channeled what BK taught him, and he said, come on. Come on. And she came over and gave him a big hug, and she had a tear in her eye. And he said, I tell you, you're going to miss us. And she said, it's a tear of joy. He said, I think you're going to miss us. She says to him, I'm going to be watching you. But get lost. How lost are you willing to get? You have so much more in you than you can even imagine. You may want to just stay put, but in life, we don't get to just stay put. You got to move. You got to go. And be strong where you are. Be together where you are. Keep your eyes to the hills, like you did when you came through those gates. Godspeed, which is a Bethany way of saying, God love you. God's with you on your mission. Be mission focused because the world deserves you. We need people to get lost. Lost in discipleship, lost in mission, lost in justice, lost in peace, always lost in love. So keep your eyes to the hills, and we'll be watching you. They'll be watching you. We're going to bear witness to the great things that you do. You are salt. Stay salty. It's Cinco de Mayo, right? Chips and margaritas are better with salt. The world is better with salt. Be salty. Go into the world and brighten up. You are light. Shine brightly. People need you. The world needs you. So get lost and go lose yourself. And while you're doing that, be found by God, who loves you, and a God who's closer to you than the beating of your own heart. God works through people. And I think God does especially good work through Bethanians. God love you. We love you. Godspeed.
Friends, please receive this blessing. A blessing is kind of like a gift we offer each other. So I invite you graduates, if you're comfortable, to unite your body with your spirit. Hold your hands out as if prepared to receive a gift. Graduates, the light of your soul has blessed this community. For your next steps, may we see in what you do the beauty of your soul. May the sacredness of your life bring light and renewal to those who know you. May your life from here not exhaust you. May your life be a wellspring of refreshment, inspiration, and excitement. May you never be lost in the blandness of work, but lost in the beauty of your days. So may the dawn of each new day find hope in your heart as you approach your days with dreams and possibilities and promises. May you be gracious with yourself because God is so gracious with you. May others be as blessed by your existence as we have been blessed by you. Go in peace.